All right, it is showtime. Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to a Sunday edition of 27 Outs Live. And as always, I, of course, am Ivan alongside Stefan. Here we are on this Sunday. You guys, told us that you'd be down for a Sunday edition of 27 Outs, and here we are, as we mentioned. Stefan, how are you feeling? I know just a few days ago, not only did you tell myself, but you told them as well that you were feeling under the weather. So, how have things been since? I know some time has gone by.
Now we back, man. We back. I got a little bit of
I
a
hear it in your voice too. You sound normal now.
yeah. We back, man. We took a little while, drank a whole bunch of vitamin C. You know what I did do throughout the last couple days, man. I think I got away from everything. I didn't like turn on the computer. I wasn't researching. I didn't put my body through nothing crazy when you up all hours of the night. I was just in there. You know what I mean? I was in bed by maybe like 11:30, real viejo status and shit.
Right, right.
Just trying to just chill, man. That's
No,
been my
that's
vibe.
important, bro. Because from time to time, I also like just don't do certain things that I typically do, but just until I get back to that point where I feel like my usual self, because the most important thing is like obviously, we always want to be on as much as we could, but if health ain't right, then what could you really do,
No, and here's the other thing too. Like I know me when the season starts, that means I'm gonna be up to, two, what I mean, at least two.
Yeah.
Watching all the West Coast games, getting shit together,
Hmm.
texting you, figuring out, all right, where we going. During the season, I'm up all hours of the night doing this baseball shit. So
Yeah.
when it's now, when there's nothing really going on, spring training ain't really popped yet. It's quiet. I figure let me get myself, some extra sleep. And also too, I think what does it is the baseball calendar it allows you to just take a couple weeks to just not do nothing.
Get
Now,
some downtime, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
we gonna ratchet back up because people in camp, spring training, all that good stuff. And
Hmm.
so now we gonna get ratcheted back up. You're gonna see us more frequently now.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because before we get into our topics, and by the way, shout out to my guy, my favorite pitcher of all time. I don't know if I ever said this on the show, Stefan. I know you know, but for those of you who are watching here, shout out to you guys. If you've already read the title of today's video, this shirt is actually fitting because we're going to be talking about the National League East, giving you our thoughts on what that's going to look like this year in
For sure.
2025, plus some more stuff. um, but yeah, I kind of feel like we are now transitioning, right? Like for the past couple months when we have been recording, it was, breaking news. We wanted to, share with thoughts on this trade, this signing, all of the above, right? And now that for the most part, a lot of, well, all of the big names at this point have been signed, moved, dealt, whatever you want to call it. We're now gearing up for, as you mentioned, Stefan, spring training, guys reporting to their new teams. How are things actually going to look now that it has to be put into place? So I'm excited. But here we are. Take it away, bro. Where would you like to start? And I will follow.
So we're gonna do we're just gonna jump this off like this. I want to get into the let's do the divisions first. Let's do the NL East and then we'll get into it. Listen, so I've been doing some reading. I read all day yesterday. I read all day today. I even, did some research. This might be the most competitive NL East we've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
Because I think three teams can win over 90 games.
that's right.
I think the Phillies can win over 90 games. I think the Braves can win over 90 games. And I think the Mets can win over 90 games. The question becomes, though, which of those teams are going to separate themselves just enough to where instead of winning 94 games, you get to maybe 96 and you win the division.
Yeah. In a way, not exactly, but in a way, the way 2024 ended in the National League East, it was very close. You had the
Mhm.
Phillies who won, I think, like 95, and then both the Braves and the Mets finished the season with 89 wins.
Yeah.
And so, if you were to ask me, I absolutely think all three teams just might win 90 games this season.
My thing is, right, I look at this division and I'm like, yo, what are we getting from Philly? Like, what does it look like? Like you still have bullpen questions. I like your lineup: Schwarber, Harper, Ramuto. I like your lineup,
Yeah.
Castellanos. Like your lineup's still gonna produce. It's for me, it's gonna come down to the pitching is gonna be very important, especially when you get to the later innings. Because the Phillies still have not addressed this bullpen situation.
Yeah, off the top of my head, in terms of losing Hoffman and I believe Estevez, I think I know Jordan Romano, they acquired him.
Yeah,
He
he was
had a
the former
down year
Blue Jay
last
closer.
season,
Yeah.
but prior to that, he had a couple of good years.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe there's another guy. I think he's pitched for the Nats before. Joe Ross is his name. I think they also got him, but
mm-hmm.
I only say that just to kind of put out there what they did this offseason. Because for me, and you know where I'm going with this, bro. For me, the biggest move that I thought the Phillies made, and I thought they were going to make a couple, but the biggest one that they did make was when they traded for Luzardo, Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins.
Right.
Outside of that, I wasn't really a big fan of how they put things together.
Well, two things were working against them. One, they were up against it in terms of the salary cap, or the tax, not the salary cap. Let me not say that. But they were
We're
trying
not
to
there yet. You might be able to say that in the near future,
right. No, so they were up against it in terms of the tax, right? They really couldn't do anything because you had Realmuto signed to a big contract, you got Harper signed to a big contract, you have
Trey Turner
signed to a big contract.
Right.
You just re-upped with Zach Wheeler a couple of years ago. Like you got guys making a lot of money, and so the question is like, how can we keep this afloat while we trying to maintain a level of competitive balance with, all the money that we spent, right? So everybody thought the Phillies were going to go out and do something crazy, and I don't see it, right? Especially with the money they have tied up into these players already. The one thing I thought the Phillies were going to do were at least bring back either Hoffman or Estevez just to give them some familiarity with the bullpen, and the fact that they didn't do that kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit. But I read something interesting in The Athletic today. This is the first time since Bryce Harper has been a Philly that the Phillies have not gone out and signed a multi-year contract with a free agent since he's been in Philadelphia.
So everyone that they did sign this offseason has been
was a
one-year
deal. Yeah.
Right.
So like they brought in Austin Hayes, the outfielder, 1-year deal. They brought in Max Kepler early in the offseason.
Yeah.
1-year deal. A lot of 1-year deals in Philadelphia.
So when it comes to Max Kepler, now because that was a guy who I was reading about prior to going live tonight.
Right.
Here's my thing with Max Kepler. Max Kepler, he's very up and down. And for those who don't know Max Kepler, he's an outfielder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Left-handed hitter. But he's one of those dudes where, and it's weird because it's been happening now for about 4 to 5 seasons. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but he'll have a season where he'll hit like 20 homers. And then it drops to like just under 10. Then the following season, he'll hit another 20 and it drops again below 10. So now that he's with the Phillies, we're talking about a team, as you mentioned, Stefan, who has and is capable of winning their respective division. What version of Max Kepler are you going to get now that he's on the Phillies and not where he was before? Yeah.
That's a very interesting question, considering this one fact. The one thing I ask about Max Kepler is, where's your health? Which is why I don't believe the Phillies want him to be a starting outfielder. They'd rather him come off the bench because they don't know where his health is at this point. You understand? So this is one thing about the Phillies. Like JT Realmuto had knee problems, had knee surgery last year. Bryce Harper is dealing with pain in both his elbows. He had Tommy John. He's dealing with shoulders and like you're getting older now, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing about the Phillies is like we're good, but what does our health look like? What does it look like if worst comes to worst, we're not able to stay healthy for the entire year, right? Like that's why I thought they were going to bring in some reinforcements, especially with the pitching. Zach Wheeler's up in age. Jesus Luzardo has had back issues. He hasn't pitched the full season in a long time. He has the stuff, but he's not able to stay on the field. Aaron Nola is also older. right? So you're looking at an older team and you're asking that team, you have to bring it every night. That's a very, very interesting proposition, especially when you're in the division with the Mets just made moves,
Yeah.
right? Atlanta is still Atlanta. You still got Acuna, you still got Albies, you still Spencer Strider's coming back for them this year. He looks healthy,
Yeah.
So the Phillies got some stuff they got to figure out. And the more that this continues to fester, the question I would have is, can we depend on the Phillies to be the Phillies of even last year? Because you got Bryce talking about, oh, we can't lose the sting of what happened to us last year. I get that. I respect that. I know that that's something you want to say to hype yourself up and your teammates. But it's a very dicey proposition if you're Bryce Harper and the Phillies, because what it shows me is that there's a lot more going on than just what's going on the field. What it shows me is internally, John Middleton, the owner's probably like, nah, I don't want to spend no more money. We spent enough,
Right.
And the question is, when you get to a certain point, when is enough enough?
Yeah, and I was actually going to get into something that's very close to that because, after I would say 2025 now, when the season comes to an end, I'd like to know what direction, if things don't pan out, in the way that the Phillies are, or I should say, would prefer for it to pan out for themselves. What are you going to do moving forward, right? Like, are you finally going to make that decision to move off from like a guy or two? Maybe Kyle Schwarber. Maybe you don't bring him back. Maybe Castellanos. Obviously, Harper is a franchise player, and I'm sure at some point, we might hear some comments about that. But I still think a little too early. But yeah, are they going to be willing and able to move on from a couple of guys where you don't tear it down all the way, but you still keep around just enough to keep guys like Trey Turner happy, Zach Wheeler, and Bryce Harper?
Well, Trey Turner is going to be happy because he got 10 years left on his deal and he's making a lot of money. Right. So
he's basically happy no matter what Philly does, right?
Yeah, because you stuck there. You signed the money you signed for. You good. But at that point, right, I'm trying to make sure I keep Bryce Harper happy, because here's where it ultimately might have to come down to. You might have to do the unthinkable, which is trade him. You might.
Now, I think that's something. It's something that could certainly become possible, right? I don't want to sit here and act like it'll never happen, because stranger things have happened, especially recently. We talked about it briefly a couple of shows ago with Doncic and Anthony Davis going to the Mavs. Right. Different sport, but sports is sports, right? Things still happen at the end of the day.
Yep.
But that's why I said I kind of feel like the Phillies are now in a position where you've got your core group, right? Yeah. And you want to be able to keep those guys together for as long as possible. What are you going to be able to do around that?
Yeah.
To get that core where you would like for them to get.
And this is the other thing, right? The one thing I will say about Dave Dombrowski is a great president of baseball operation. Like you've heard me say, this guy's a genius when it comes to putting teams on the field. However, the one thing Dave Dombrowski has not done is he hasn't developed a bullpen since he's been in baseball. Like, I remember in Detroit when they had Jose Valverde, and
yeah, I remember that.
They had a bunch of dudes that you were like, bro, what the hell are you doing? And you look back and you got Jose Alvarado, you got Ryan O'Kerkering, who can close. If he got the stomach for it, he can close. He got the stuff. The question then becomes for the Phillies is like, yo, look at what the Mets did. You brought in AJ Minter, Edwin Diaz. You're looking for a bounce back year from him. Like, they solidified their bullpen. Is it great? No, but it's good enough to where, yo, the Mets, I don't care what anybody says. And for anybody that says they're the third best team in the National League, I got news for all y'all. The Mets are going to win that division.
You got them winning the division?
Yes. I'm going to tell you why. It's the same thing with the Braves. Like, the Braves are good, but when is the last time we've seen the Braves do anything of significance other than, win a couple regular season games? Atlanta gets to the playoffs and it's like, It just folds.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on Atlanta now because I already had a couple of things in advance when it came to the Braves. So
Right.
let's get into it, right? And by the way, before I get into that, shout out to all of you who are watching right now. I'm Ivan, that's Stefan. Welcome to
Yo.
27 Outs Live. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on Instagram at 27 Outs 3C. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future content. Yeah, so the Braves. You mentioned Spencer Strider and Acuna. Two, I would say, very, very key players.
No
Not
doubt.
just for 2025, but for the future.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we've talked about who the Braves have lost, especially this offseason. Max Fried to the Yankees. You just said it, Stefan. AJ Minter to the Mets. Charlie Morton, I think he went to Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. The reason why I mentioned Spencer Strider is because he's now coming off of his second elbow surgery.
Second Tommy John in 5 years, yeah.
Exactly. The first time, I believe he got it like in college. So this is his first time at the professional level. But Tommy John is Tommy John, no matter when or where you get it.
No doubt.
And with Acuna, we're talking about the second time that he has tore his ACL. Those are two, humongous injuries for who they are and how they play. That's big. I got to see how they bounce back from that. Because I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I know we love Acuna for his bat. Some people probably love him even more when he's on the bases and how electric he could be. But I'm sorry to break it down to you. If you're a Braves fan, he has to change his style of play. Because if you already tore your ACL twice, maintaining the way that you've played for as long as you've been in the league now, you got to switch it up because that only means a third one is probably going to be on the way. Not that I'm trying to wish that on him, but let's be honest, man. Like, how many times are you going to continue to be who you have always been before you finally go through it, perhaps maybe a third time, and now you got to sit out for X amount of time and really tell yourself, yo, I'm not that guy anymore.
No,
I got to stop stealing bases.
So this is why I'm going to say something crazy. Now, I'm going to mention another name to go along with what you said. The other thing they need to hope is that Chris Sale can pitch how he pitched last year, because if he can't, it's gonna look a lot different. The rotation, you're depending a lot on Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson's one of the young kids they brought up. Like, you're hoping that the young kids they have there can, Bryce Elder can fill up what was left behind by Max Fried and all these other guys.
During his age 36 season,
right? So, like, the Braves have to hope that you can catch lightning in a bottle, right? Like, your pitching has to be good enough where you are able to at least say, you know what? If the offense struggles, we can pitch our way through. And you look at Philly's bullpen. Philly's bullpen isn't, nothing to sneeze at either. Outside of Raisel Iglesias, who's getting the ball? Joe Jimenez?
Or the Braves. The
Braves, I'm sorry. Yeah, like the Braves bullpen also has some question marks. And here's the other thing I'll say is Ronald Acuna's tempering point going to happen in Atlanta, right? Because I go back to something that I heard Alex Anthopoulos say a couple years ago, or I think it was last offseason, where he said, listen, I'll be lying to you if we're not taking calls on Ronald Acuna, on a lot of our players, and just to see what's out there, right? So when everybody says, I think Ronald Acuna stays in Atlanta, I think there's a good chance that Ronald Acuna may be traded at some point soon when his value is at its highest, because you're talking about 2 ACL tears. We don't know how this dude's going to respond to this last one, right? So if he comes out and has a good 2025, I think a trade may be something that they may have to do just to recoup some value.
Right.
Especially when he's not making that much money. You know what I'm saying? He's making decent money, but it's not a lot of money. And so the question then becomes, is like, what does it look like if he's not able to stay on the field? If he becomes a primary DH, if he slows down, if he can't give you the same production overall that he's been giving you for the last few seasons. Very interesting question for Alex Anthopoulos and the Braves. And here's the other thing. The Braves didn't make many moves either. Like, they signed Jerison Profar, nice move, but they didn't do much, right?
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, is like you're hoping against hope that you're able to get something out of Chris Sale. Ian Anderson pitches well. You're hoping that Strider comes back and is the Spencer Strider before he blew out his elbow. You're hoping that Ozzy Albies can play a full season healthy. There's a lot of question marks with the Atlanta Braves. And when you look at it, I'm like, I don't know, man. I think, if I'm honest, I think looking at this division, I think the thing that I will say is I think the Mets are the best team positioned to make a deep run in the playoffs in this division. Everybody else has talent, yes, but everybody else is not as young as like the Mets are young considering like I know Lindor's 31, but he's like they're still wrong. You got Vientos, you got Acuna, you got what I mean. Soto's still a young man. Like the Mets are
Yeah.
younger, and so when you're younger on the position player side, you can withstand injuries. You can withstand not having a complete roster. Like Philly got to hope Bryce Harper's healthy. Atlanta got to hope Austin Riley can come back off this hand injury and be Austin Riley of a couple years ago. Like you got to hope that these guys kind of find a rhythm. Also, I'm going to say something. I think it's time for managerial changes in both Atlanta and Philadelphia. I really do, because I like Ryan Thompson, the manager of the Phillies. I like Thompson, I
Yeah.
do, but it's like we might have to do something different, man. Robbie Thompson's been around a long time, And the other thing is Brian Snitker's he's an old man. Like Brian Snitker's been in baseball for damn near 30 years.
That's for as long as I've been alive.
You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, we got to get to a point where it's like, yo, we might have to do some maneuvering out here.
Yeah.
Because the game's getting younger. And don't get me wrong, I love the OG manager, Bruce Bochy. Dusty Baker won a championship. I love the OG manager, but the game's going away from that, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't produce the kind of results that are necessary, they will fire you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I wonder.
You know what's funny, man? I know we started off with the Phillies and now the Braves, but I'm listening to everything that we've talked about to this point, and we're talking about two teams who are gonna finish well above 500. I'm sure,
no doubt. Yep.
But of course, here on 27 Outs, we like to dig a little deeper, right? And that's why we're breaking it down in the way that we have thus far.
I mean, here's the thing, right? And there's a comment here that I got to get to. While I agree with you in theory, in practice is very different. Because if you ain't winning and the contract becomes more onerous, you're stuck with that contract.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to take it away from the fans. The fans are going to be emotional. You can't trade Bryce. You can't trade Bryce. You can't trade Bryce.
Thank you for saying that, because if we go back, I would say maybe about 10 years, I would say maybe a little more. Do you remember the time when the Phillies held on to a few guys for a little too long? Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard,
Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, the Phillies held on. And listen, those guys did some great things while wearing Phillies jerseys, right? But at the same time, everyone has their day. And what I mean by that is there's a time when, listen, there's a saying, Father Time is undefeated, and it comes knocking on everyone's door, even our doors at some point, and we don't play sports, right?
For sure.
But I say that because you don't want to end up in a similar situation where Bryce Harper, Real Muto, and whoever else ends up being older guys, and now you're just stuck.
Now you're
just stuck with them.
The difference is with Philly is with those teams, they won championships.
Yeah, they got one.
They got one.
The World Series twice.
Yeah. So they won a championship in 2008. This current Phillies group has not won a championship. They haven't even sniffed the World Series.
I'm sorry to say, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think you would agree with me, Stefan. And I think for those of you who are watching right now, and shout out to all of you guys, would also agree with me. I don't think the Phillies is winning anything, man. Especially with the way the Dodgers and the rest of the National League is looking moving forward.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna do what the fans want us to do, or we're gonna do what's best for business. To the 11 people in here, what's up, man? Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts on this. Go, we crazy or what?
Yeah, we are gonna get to the comment section at some point. But for those of you who have been around before, you know, we like to do our thing, and then we show you guys love later in the night.
Definitely. What I will say is, like, yo, put it to you this way. Luka Doncic was just traded. I know it's a different sport, but do you understand how significant that is? Luka Doncic, who's 25 years old in his prime, he ain't even touching his prime yet, was traded. If a Luka Doncic could be traded, anybody could get it in any sport, especially if you ain't winning or you ain't sniffing the World Series, you ain't getting me close to the ultimate goal. Yo, we might have to break this up. And if Bryce is the one with the most value, he might be the first to go. I don't think Dave Dombrowski does it because Dave Dombrowski wants to keep winning, hold on for as long as he can.
Yeah, that's why I said it, you know, differently a few minutes ago. Where, yeah, at some point you're gonna want to make some moves, but maybe it won't be the biggest pieces.
We got a new commenter in here. I like that.
D-Rails. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Shout out to you.
Oh, hit that like and subscribe button. Keep them comments coming. I will like at some point, you have to do the unthinkable, right? Like the Phillies have spent they put a lot of money into this team. Same thing with Atlanta. You might have to start where Acuna gets traded. You might have to do something where it's unconventional, because what I realize is you have to be with, we as fans, we never had this luxury. You feel me? You have to come to a realization that sometimes trades are the easiest way to reset your the franchise. Whether we like it or not, trades may be the easiest way to reset the franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because whether or not it works out, that's another conversation for another time. But if you're ownership and you're like, yo, I got this crazy ass luxury tax bill, they looking at me crazy. How can I afford this when we ain't close to a championship? Like at that point, yo, there might have to be a trade that comes to reset this thing. And more often than not, it comes from ownership. It ain't going to come from the GM. A lot of times it's ownership, like, yo, I don't want to play this luxury tax bill anymore, right? That's why I believe, I'll say this for the record, the Mets, in my opinion, you have to win a championship within the first 5 years of Juan Soto's tenure.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's only going to get harder. The more you get up the mountain and you're like, damn, bro,
because how old is he now? He's what, 26, right? I believe. So 5 years from now, he'll be what, 31?
Yeah.
But at that point, his quote unquote partner in crime in Francisco Lindor, he's going to be in his late 30s.
Yeah.
So what they have around him is also going to be important, not just for him possibly no longer being able to play the outfield anymore at that point, but how old are the rest of the guys on the Mets going to be as well?
But that's the thing that I'm asking myself. If you're the Mets, right? You see this window as, I think the Mets got a 5-year window to win a championship. I think it's a 5-year window because I look at how old, because Pete Alonso's up in age, but they can go get a first baseman. They can go replenish. They got enough money. Cohen don't care about the money. Cohen's not worried about it. Where you look at all these other situations, Philly may be like, yo, we spent a lot of money on this team. Do I want to double down and triple down and keep going? Not everybody got Steve Cohen pockets, yo. Where Atlanta's owned by Liberty Media, Atlanta might not want to keep throwing good money after bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we may not want to keep playing this game, and that's where if you're the Mets, you see everybody in the division kind of taking a step back, breathing. Yo, maybe this ain't all year. Go win that bitch, bro.
One thing, and I forgot to say this a couple of minutes ago, but we're on the topic of the NOE, so I do want to bring it up briefly. I want to give the Braves some credit, because a lot of times we have teams who will lock up a couple of guys and not lock up some others, and allow those players to talk to everybody else in Major League Baseball via free agency.
For sure.
But the reason why I give the Braves credit is because they locked up all of their guys. Matt Olson locked up. Austin Riley locked up. Ozzie Albies, Ronald Acuna Jr. Now, not all of those guys are deserving nor receiving the amount of money that they should be getting from the Braves, if we're being realistic. But at the same time, you don't see a lot of teams do that, So the Braves are also, I know we just spoke about them, but their window is, I would say, not as long as the Mets window, especially when you look at everything that the Mets had done in this offseason. But yeah, man, I just had to put that out there.
So I like what Atlanta did. I like Atlanta's team. The problem with Atlanta is, are we going to get a healthy season out of Albies? Are we going to get a healthy season out of Acuna? Where he might have to only steal 30 bases. Yo, you can only steal 30 bases this year.
Yeah.
No more 60, 70, 80 stolen bases. Nah. And you know what I would say? I know this is not the same. We going off on a little tangent here, but a guy like Ellie De La Cruz, yo, no more 70 stolen base seasons, my boy. You are too damn valuable to me, to the Reds, to baseball. Yo, tone it down and go for 50.
I don't think we're there yet, but I agree. At some point, he's gonna have to stop as well.
Your body, that's a pounding unnecessary on your body.
Yeah.
I understand if you want to do it in a late game situation, it's the 7th, 8th inning, you want to put yourself in scoring position, cool. But in a random game in the 3rd inning in July, nah.
But let me ask you this, Stefan, because while I do agree with you, let's see it from, a player's perspective, and not just any player, right? But, we know what type of backgrounds these guys come from, at least some of them.
For sure.
Ellie De La Cruz, think about it. Can he really take any days off, especially when he's trying to earn as much money as he could in the future?
That's a
you
good
got to
point.
See it from that point as well.
No, that's a good point by you.
It's tough, bro.
That's a good point by you. But if you're hurt before you can make the money,
you got to tone it down. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Then you won't even get a chance to make the money.
if I'm him, it's like, yo, dog, you still gonna get paid if you go 40-40.
Right.
You can still 70. But 40-40 is just as good. If you average 40-40 from now till the time you're a free agent, guess what? You got about $800 million coming your way. And that's not hyperbole. Ellie De La Cruz is going to get close to $800 million.
You think so? Damn, bro. How old is Ellie? Ellie's not 25 yet, right? Let me see.
He's going to get paid.
He's 23. He actually just turned 23. Wow.
And he's been in the big league since how old? Since he was what, 21, 20?
Probably, yeah, something like that.
Yo, you're going to hit free agency by the time.
I feel like I've been hearing about him now for about 3 years, maybe.
Yo, dog.
Two years, actually. 2023. He's now entering his 3rd season.
Yo, he's going to hit free agency by the time he's what? 26?
Could be.
Son, do you know what that looks like?
He better not pull a Joey Votto and stay with the Reds, bro. Because if he does that, boy, am I gonna be pissed.
Nah, he's not.
Because we watched Joey Votto rot in Cincinnati.
So, but here's the difference. Can I be real for a
Joey
second?
Votto got paid.
No, but
now it's a different type of getting paid compared to what it is now. But
can I be real for a second? Ellie De La Cruz is Spanish. Ain't nothing popping in Cincinnati. Oh hell no.
Right. Get out while you kill it.
What?
Yeah.
That boy gonna be running to whatever. Yo, dog. It's either the Mets. It's either somebody's gonna sign him. Big market flair with those skills. Listen, and I'm not saying that I don't blame Ellie De La Cruz for wanting to steal 70 bases. Same thing with Acuna.
Yeah, that's why I brought up that point.
Same thing with Acuna. If that's your game, that's your game. But here's
the difference with Acuna, though. Acuna could have actually touched free agency sooner, but he gave in to what the Braves gave to him I forgot how many years ago it was now, but you get where I'm going.
I think he signed. I think it was like 4 years ago. He signed an 8-year deal for like $100 million.
If I had to translate that into English, he's essentially playing for the Braves for free.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, but like, I get what they're saying in the comments. I get it. But I'm like, yo.
Oh, 8 years, 100 mils. Where he said, damn.
8 years, 100. Yo, that's nothing, son.
That's crazy. I feel bad for him.
You may not tell Ellie that, but they're not going to flip him, dog. They can't afford to flip him. Not with Terry Francona as the manager.
True. That's a very good point.
Terry Francona being the manager is not going to allow you to flip his franchise shortstop. That's the reason he took the job.
Yeah. Bringing in a guy like Terry Francona, you're essentially telling the fan base, we're going to try to make the best out of what we have in front of us for the next couple of years.
You're not doing that, especially when you just signed Terry Francona to a contract extension or a long-term deal, right? Like, my thing would be, because eventually I do think he's going to end up leaving Cincinnati as a free agent. That I do believe. The question then becomes, how comfortable are the Reds with knowing, like, yo, we're going to lose him for nothing? The Braves got lucky when they signed Acuna to that deal. You got lucky. Because a lot of people don't take that deal. But you got lucky. He took it. He took the money.
Now, I'm sure the Reds, because, listen, you have to at least try, right? I don't think you should let just any guy walk through the door and hit free agency.
Right.
So I'm sure at some point, whenever it may be, we're going to hear that the Reds offered X amount of years, for X amount of money when it comes to Ellie De La Cruz. But it's not going to be anywhere near what he really should be getting.
Let me ask you this question, right? If you Ellie De La Cruz and the Reds offer you somewhere, I want to say 10 years, 450. You know what I mean? You taking that when Juan Soto just got 15 at 765?
You know what I'm going to say? I got you right now. Let me see if I could find it. Let me see. Right? You know where I'm going, bro. I'm saying this word for word. Sing it with me, guys. Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. That would be my answer to them straight up, bro. Like, wait, you offered me how much? Forget the years. Because let's be honest, man. It's all about the bread. It's all about the money. We know that. Mm-hmm. Forget the years. And players like to make it seem like the years matter, but stop that. We know what really matters.
Yeah, but if the years and the AAV are both hitting, I won. I hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? What I will say is this too. Austin Riley got to produce. Austin Riley's under contract for a long time too. You locked up a lot of your guys. A lot of your guys got to produce now. I think Michael Harris just got paid too. He got an extension before last season. Like, you need these guys to show up and produce, right? And like, here's the other thing. Like, you know who I feel bad for in all of this? The Nationals. Because I like the Nationals. They're a good, young, up-and-coming team. I like the the gist of their club. Crows, CJ Abrams at short. I like their team.
They called up one of their top prospects last season.
James
Dylan Wood, I believe.
James Wood, Dylan Cruz.
Yeah.
Dylan Cruz, rather. I'm sorry. I like their team. But you looking at the Mets, Cohen spending all this money, Philly spending all this money.
There's too much going on for them to even, enter the conversation. Crazy, step foot in the room. Like, this is, they're not there yet. Like, their time is coming.
No, I think the Nationals are going to be good for a very long time. James Woods is a young man. I like Mackenzie Gore leading their rotation. I like what they're doing in DC. It's just going to take them a little while. The thing is, look at who you stuck behind. You know what I'm saying? You stuck behind Steve Cohen that got more money than the federal government.
No, more than the feds is crazy, bro. That serious money. But you're right, though. He does. So.
You know what I'm saying? He's loaded. He got more money. He got more money than you'd ever want to even imagine, right? So if you got to deal with these heavyweights, Philly got money. Atlanta, they're gonna throw some money out. You're dealing with some heavyweights. And I'm gonna just say this for the Marlins because I don't even want to talk about them. There needs to be a relegation system put in place. The Miami Marlins need to be relegated to the minor leagues, and we need to not see them until they spend some money.
Yeah, they're bad, bro.
We need to treat them like a soccer team. You are getting relegated, motherfucker.
I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to the Marlins, just a couple of years ago, I used to look at their starting rotation like, hold on now, they might have something coming in a couple of years.
Right.
But even that just crumbled. They let a guy go to Philly. We spoke about that a few minutes ago in Luzardo.
Right.
Sandy Alcantara, he won the National League Cy Young Award a couple of years ago. Hasn't been that ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even know what's going on in Miami if you were to ask me. I wish I had more to say, but I don't. I'm sorry to say.
I'm right there along with you. Like, I wonder right now if Sandy pitches a good half a season, comes back out of the season, he's healthy. Yo, I wonder if the Marlins take calls. Yo, we'll put a package together. Let's get him. You ain't doing nothing with him. Let me have him. Put a decent package together where you like, you know what? Trading him may set me up for whatever the future is. But even that gets tiresome too. Because, like, what do you tell that fan base? What do you tell that fan base? You selling off again? Again?
And they've been waiting for a while now for the team to finally turn it around after they departed with a few guys who were on the team for years.
Crazy, bro.
Because let's be honest, man. The last time, we've seen the Marlins have a random playoff appearances, and I say random because should they even have really gotten to that point? I mean, who knows? But they deserved it, rightfully so.
Right.
But it's been a while, man. Like, remember the days when they had Stanton, Yelich, and Marcell Ozuna in their outfield? It's been a while, man. Stanton has been a Yankee for some time now. Christian Yelich has been a Brewer for some time now. Marcell Ozuna has been with the Braves for some time now.
That's crazy.
What are the Marlins doing? Like, what's next with that franchise?
And here's what I'm going to tell you. If you can't support the team, sell the goddamn team. Sell the team. Do you know what you could get for a Major League Baseball team right now? On the cheap, they probably get $1.9 billion. And that's on the low end. Sell the team. First of all, move them out of Miami. What are we doing?
Really? Should you want to move out of Miami, really?
Yes, because all that's in Miami is New Yorkers and transplanted from other people from Florida. The Rays don't need to be in Tampa either.
No, Tampa, I agree. I don't think there should be any team actually playing in Tampa if you would have asked me.
It's sick what's going on there. And it's like, yo, the Mets ain't going nowhere. Philly ain't going nowhere. Atlanta ain't going nowhere. Like, shit, the Nationals might overtake y'all pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like, y'all got some serious questions. Like, sell the team. If it's that bad, bro, sell the team. And here's the reality, and I'm just going to say this for the record, right? This may be the worst Met team you see in the next 5 years.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I'm
only saying really because I wasn't expecting that. But right. I think I see where you're going.
So hear me out on this, right? Like, their outfield is going to get better next year. Like, they're going to find an outfielder. Somehow, some way, they're going to find an outfielder. All right? And I'm talking about aircraft carrier, good on both ends outfielder. The Mets got money. They can do this. This may be the worst Met team you see in the next 5 years. Because I also believe one thing is also true. If you started with Soto, you ain't stopping at Soto.
Oh, you can't.
You're going to keep going. Like, Vladdy might be a Met next year, right? Like, they're going to figure some stuff out. And that's what I'm saying. They're not – Steve Cohen didn't get here and say all of a sudden, let's just put the pause button on. No. What happens with Philly? Interesting point.
And I know what you mean when you say this is going to be the worst Met team that you see over the next 5 years.
You might
because I kind of feel like when it comes to the Mets, they're now entering a new era.
And you talking about, we're not even talking about the kids they got. I think this kid Vientos takes the next step. I think
I like Vientos. Yes.
Acuna is gonna take a next step.
Right.
What do we see from Jet Williams, or does Jet Williams get used in a trade for some pitching depth? Like they're gonna keep augmenting this. This is not just gonna stop here and go on. The 2025 Mets are a cute story. Let's just keep no. They're gonna go for it because they realize one thing. One, you in New York with the Yankees, and they don't want the Yankees to keep snatching all the headlines. No. The city's under new management. You know what? You remember when Prokhorov said the city's under new management? Unlike the Mets might really take this bitch over. Seriously.
Don't say that too loud now. I know what you mean, but don't say that too loud now. We got a few people in here.
I'm going to tell you right now.
They might have something to say. Oh, and by the way, if you're a Mets fan, let us know in the comments section, your thoughts and also on what we're talking about right now.
I'm going to tell you right now, keep it a full. New York is going to be a Met town within 3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Judge will be 35.
Right.
Giancarlo Stanton will be about to retire.
Garrett Cole, yeah.
Up in age.
That's a problem.
Max Fried will be 35.
Goldie's going to be out the league.
Talk about it.
You're right, yeah.
There's going to be Jason Dominguez and a bunch of what the fucks.
That's true. Listen, I've said this before, and we're not going to get into the Yankees tonight, but since you did say that, Stephen, I do want to share this briefly. The post Aaron Judge era for the Yankees, somebody blindfold me right now as I speak, because I don't even want to see what that looks like. Like, I'm so afraid, but we'll get to that at some point. For now, let's worry about what's in front of us.
For sure.
Because they got another World Series appearance to make. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right. So that's the
Let's get to these comments, bro.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Before we get into our next topic, let's get into the comments. Friendly reminder, as always, follow us on Instagram at 27ounce3c. There's a lot of you watching right now, so I'm going to give you guys a second to hit that subscribe button. You're not low. I'm calling you out. 1, 2, 3. You subscribed? All right, cool. Welcome. That's Stefan. I'm Ivan. 27 Ounce Live. We here. We rocking tonight. Shout out to all of you who were here. Time for the comments.
Sure, man. Let's get to it.
Shrek, I want to start with you because, you wanted to be funny. I am not wearing an OVO shirt today. I'm wearing a Roy Halladay shirt. So there's that.
Damn, they bringing the smoke already, dog. Damn. Before the show even started, he left that comment.
I like this comment here by Rick. You see that? The Phillies are banking heavy on Turner bouncing back and the pitching being solid. Yeah. They're going to need it.
Well, they might be going bankrupt because I don't see them being bankrolled.
See, it's tough too for the Phillies now because just a couple of years ago when they were in the World Series, you didn't have the Mets damn near, on your neck, trying to put you out. Like,
right.
Now it's very different.
And I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, at the end of the day, the world is changing. No longer is this the ha-ha Mets. No, that's dead. The Wilpons ain't walking through that door, bro.
See, this right here is scary. Another comment by Rick. He says there's also no development in Philly. There's nothing coming from the farm. When Realmuto's contract ends, they end. Ooh, that's scary.
See, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not surprised. You know why? Look who's running the team. Dave Dombrowski don't give a fuck about none of them prospects y'all talking about.
Yeah, right. And we've seen him do this before. I think he's done it in Boston. He also did it in Detroit. Yeah.
Right. So when you sit there and say, oh, but, what does it look like in the end for Philly? You better hope you get a chip and you get it soon. Because if you don't get it, there's no farm system to save you. There's no backup plan to save you. Bryce is going to age horribly. Trey Turner's already showing signs that he's not the shortstop you thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
You got some problems, man. If you in Philly, you got some problems. Joel Embiid and the Sixers are not the biggest problem in Philadelphia. And I can't believe I'm saying that's a thing. By the way, who
Shout
the
out to
heck?
Philly though, man, because they coming off that Super Bowl win.
The Eagles are your only hope. Right now, the Eagles all you got in Philly. Joel
Yeah.
Embiid he's more disabled than me
Embiid
right
is a
now.
joke, bro. Like, oh, I remember the years of hearing about the process this, the process that. Man, screw the process. I don't give a
Right.
damn no more.
So that's what I'm saying. So like when you got Bryce, you got Embiid, you got Paul George looking like he needs to be in a senior citizen home.
This is the new version of the process in Philly. That's what it is. But it ain't working. Sorry, Philly. I'm not trying to
I'm telling you right
guys,
now,
but it is what it is.
there's a world where there is a world where the Phillies win 80 plus games and they don't make the playoffs next year. There is a world where that happens.
For that to happen, a lot of things got to go wrong.
There's a world. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but there's a world where it can happen, bro.
Yeah.
You talk. Look at what's happening around you in the game, right? Like the Padres might get a wild card spot. Arizona might get a wild card spot. There's only but so many wild card spots left. The Phillies may win 80 plus games and miss the playoffs completely. I'm not saying they do, but it's possible.
Another team who's also going to be better, I would say, this season, the Cubs as well.
Yeah.
The Cubs are going to be better this year.
Yeah. And also, if the Cubs could have found a way to get Bregman to go along with Tucker, boy, that lineup would have been looking a little bit scarier to me.
Right.
There's a world, man.
This is interesting here by Shrek. He says he thinks the Mets are the safest bet to win. But if Acuna and Strider are fully healthy, that's a hell of a team. You're right. And that's why I made that point. But it's going to be tough. Just keep in mind the injuries that both Acuna and Strider are coming off of.
Yeah, and you don't, first of all, you don't know when Strider's going to be healthy enough to say, I really want to let it go. Is he going to be pitching scared the first few months because he doesn't want to blow it out again? Same thing with Acuna. Does he get off to a decent enough start?
Is he even, see, here's my thing with Strider. Is he even going to pitch enough games in spring training to be ready for the start of the season? I got to see that first.
Right now, no. Right now, they'll be lucky if he starts middle of the year. I mean, middle of spring. He's throwing bullpens, but bullpens are different than getting in a game on a mound and throwing your stuff at full velocity. Like he's been throwing bullpens for a few months. They expect him to throw in spring, but even throwing in spring is different.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the juice of a big league stadium, big league mound.
You know what I read too, and you probably know about this too, Stefan. So earlier tonight, we were on the Braves and all that stuff and how they're gonna look this season.
Right.
Strider, so second elbow surgery. So I know Tommy John is what he first got when he was in college. Now I know he got something I was reading that is damn near the equivalent of Tommy John. But instead of 18 months, I heard it takes a year.
12.
Because how does that work? So is there room for him to possibly get maybe a third elbow surgery?
If he gets the third one, that's pretty.
Because with the second one, did you really get the work that needed to be done?
No,
you get where I'm going?
So no, it's still Tommy John surgery, but they do it with what's called an internal brace. So it allows for the recuperation time to be faster. Where if you do the vintage Tommy John, you're out at least 16 to 18 months.
So here's my thing. Are we at a point now where we know that works, or is this still like the experimental era? You get where I'm going, right?
No, yeah. But everything's experimental, bro. If we're sitting here being honest, because if there was a full-on resolution to what if Tommy John cured all ails, pitchers wouldn't be blowing out their arms as fast as they do, having to have seconds, having to undergo it maybe possibly a third time. Like Nathan Eovaldi did this 3 times already before he got to Texas.
You know what would be crazy? Could you imagine a world if, let's say, I don't know, 15 to 20 years from now, we find out and we read like this news breaking piece that pretty much talks about Tommy John and the fact that all of the guys who got it over the years didn't really need it, and they finally found the one surgery that is going to get the job done. Yo, could you imagine that? I'm like, yo, what the hell?
You know what I think is going to involve? Stem cells. Because stem cell injections are illegal in the United States. I think once they legalize stem cell injections, that's going to change the way we look at surgeries and medical procedures in sports from now to the end of time.
Right.
Because what I don't know if you heard the story, but Kobe went overseas. Kobe Bryant, he went overseas and got stem cell surgery on his knee. When Kobe came back, Kobe was a completely different person.
Yeah, that story sounds familiar. I think
You
I
know what I'm
heard a little bit
saying?
about it.
So when you start letting stem cells be legal in the United States, where these teams all have access to it, Tommy John is going to be way. You're going to see guys coming back in 6 months instead of 12.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's get through some what the comments talking about. Tell him, bro, it's a Met town. Know what I mean? He outside.
You know, earlier I saw your first comment, D-Rels, and I didn't even bother to ask who are you a fan of because I kind of like just assumed. But
He a
thank
Met
you
fan,
for
though.
clarifying.
He
Yeah.
outside.
But I'm glad you're here tonight because it's a great time for Mets fans to be in on the chat, especially.
Let's see. Let's see what we got. First of all, shout out to TD. He's in here once again. You know what I mean?
TD, always.
TD is in here.
Oh, shout out to Gilbert right here. Great show, guys. Keep up the good work. Yo, Gilbert, shout out to you, bro. For sure. Thank you for stopping by, watching the show as always.
For sure. Shout out to you, Gil. Appreciate it, brother. They having a conversation amongst themselves in the chat, which is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is funny.
Yeah, man. Especially when you were talking about this being a Met town, and when you said the next 3 years.
3 years, yeah. Shit, we might be here already.
What does Gilbert say here? He says Mets fan here from the BX, but also overall baseball fan of the game.
Salute.
Just like us, Gilbert.
So he says, so wait, which city would you rather have baseball in? Orlando or Miami? Neither. Get it out of Florida.
I would think it's Miami. I would like to say, but maybe baseball just isn't for Florida.
Yeah, get it out. Get it out of Florida. That you got a bunch of transient people that move from Florida and go a bunch of different places. How can you build a fan base out there?
Because let's be honest, you got teams in certain places where they don't get the same foot traffic that Miami or Orlando does. But like I said, baseball might not be a thing for people in Florida.
It's tough.
Or I don't want to say not a thing, but it's just not as big as, you know, the Marlins especially would like for it to be.
This is funny.
We already had the steroid era. Now get ready for the steps.
That's funny.
Yo, speaking of the steroid era, not exactly, but you know, there's a lot of people who think that a lot of pro athletes are on something, whether it be banned or not. A lot of people just believe that athletes is definitely on some stuff.
It works for basketball and football in Florida. Here's why.
Well, football's, I kind of feel like
football's king. Football's king in Florida. That's first and foremost.
Well, king in this country, period.
No, but Florida, especially down south, Florida and Texas, it works.
Yeah.
Miami, it works because Pat Riley's down there, and they built up a culture. And you may think, well, what does that mean? Pat Riley is that dude. There's a reason why he's called the Godfather of the NBA.
Right.
It works. You know what I'm saying? It works because of who is in charge in these places, right? The Magic work because people liked it. Look who started the Magic. Shaq, Penny Hardaway, Dwight Howard was in Orlando. Like, they had stars. They had people that were recognizable in these markets, right? But I think why it works in the NBA is they rather have the no state income tax. It's not that many games. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the thing is with baseball doesn't cater enough to the younger demographic. Where football and basketball, they cater more to the younger demographic. Where baseball is strictly for the dudes that are, in their 50s and their 60s. Like, we're rare breed. Like, me and Ivan, me and you are rare breed. Being in our 30s, loving the game as much as we do. It works in Florida because,
and even when we were younger too.
You know what I'm saying? It allows a little bit more. You're able to get more creative with basketball and football in Florida. Like, Tom,
what's crazy too? You would think, well, I would think at least, especially with the amount of talent that comes out of Florida for the sport of football. Football, yeah, but baseball as well. A lot of guys, especially, you brought up something a few minutes ago, Stefan, that I think, like Alex Rodriguez, back in the day, he's from New York originally, but moved to Florida to probably pursue baseball, and he became who he became. But it's kind of crazy how, like, the crowd just it's not there. They don't show up.
No. And the thing is, most people in Florida, they move. I was born in New York, so I'm a Yankee fan. I was born in Boston, so I'm a Red Sox fan. I was born here.
But that's what I'm saying, though. So many guys go there. The weather's beautiful. You don't got to deal with like 8 different seasons within a month.
No state income tax is a mother too, boy.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, listen, man, they got to get to the bottom of whatever's going on.
And also, too, it comes down to, if you don't have owners that don't want these teams to flourish, sell the team.
You know what's crazy too? And I'm not mad at this, right? Because I watch WBC games. But isn't it crazy how WBC games are jumping more than a regular season Marlins game, bro? Isn't that something else?
In the same ballpark, dude.
Yeah, more people are willing to watch 2 random countries go at it in Miami than their own. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's next level nuts, man. That's a good point by Shrek, because I feel the same way.
True.
Same way, yeah. And the reality of it is it's only going to get harder to facilitate keeping people invested. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be the thing. It's like, how are we going to be invested in this, right? Like, if you see these other teams in the National League East, like, we're not even checking for the Marlins. We checking for the Rays more than we checking for the Marlins.
The only reason why I'm checking for the Marlins is to see if they're ever gonna make some of those arms available, which they've already started. But I'd like to see if they're gonna make some more available,
So,
but other than that, there's really nobody that I really had my eye on.
So here's what I'm gonna tell you. Even if you make the arms available, how many cycles of this we're going to go through before a Marlin fan just throws up his hands and says, again, we're doing this again? You feel me?
Yeah.
Let's get to this robo-ump situation, man. Automated umps.
Before we get into that, I want to give another reminder. A lot of you guys are watching right now. A lot of you guys, and we appreciate that. But the views and all of that stuff, it certainly has been great, for a couple months now. And we want to keep that momentum going forward, not only with you guys, of course, responding and giving us the love that you guys are providing us with, but also with the content that we put out, right? So if you are new here, and I would not be surprised if there's a couple of you right now who are watching, who are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So yeah, robo-ump time.
I got to be honest.
I want to get into this, by the way, after you say what you have to say, because I read something that I didn't know entirely. All right,
go.
So this whole robo-ump thing, obviously, for those who don't know, Major League Baseball is going to be using this in spring training. So any day now, we're going to start seeing this on a daily basis, essentially at the professional level, the Major League level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. I did some reading, and it sounds like there's 2 versions of this, Stefan. I think you know where I'm going. There's the version where the umpire is always involved, right? But there's the true automated version where the umpire is just simply saying ball strike, courtesy of what a machine is telling them to. I think they're going to have like some sort of earpiece, and that's how they're going to relay the information. Mm-hmm. And then there's another system where it's going to be the umpire's call. However, I think catchers. I don't know if is it batters as well. I know catchers and somebody else is going to be able to challenge the umpire's call.
Yeah.
So that I'm not really a big fan of, because I thought that was the thing that, especially as a baseball fan, you don't want to see people arguing balls and strikes. So the fact that they even have that as a possibility, throw that shit out the window right now as we speak.
So hold on. I can't argue balls and strikes when I'm on the field as a manager, but you're going to give me the ability to challenge it if something looks off the plate?
Makes no sense, bro, at all. I don't get it.
I'm kind of like, what the hell?
Right.
And here's the other thing, right? I think they're doing this for a number of reasons. One, when we spoke earlier today, I told you, there's going to become a point where umpires are going to be obsolete. It's going to be straight up, robots and shit.
Right.
That make these calls. And the thing that I pointed out to you was, these umps work harder than the players do. Because they go from city to city to city to city. There's no days off for these dudes.
And they're older guys, too. They're not as young as some of these players are either.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. To me, there should be a mandate on, once you pass the age of 60, maybe 65, we're pulling you off the field. And I'm not trying to be ageist when I say this, because when I explained it to you earlier, it made a lot of sense, right?
Damn, so you're not trying to see somebody at like the age of 70 years old calling balls and strikes?
No.
This is not something to laugh about. Sorry, guys. Sorry, but I think you guys could laugh along with me by saying this. Could you imagine if somebody at that age damn near like falls down or something for like trying to like show some emotion?
Well,
call somebody safe or out. Next thing you know, something happens to them, bro.
Do me a favor. Google how old Joe West was when he retired.
Joe West.
You remember umpire Joe West?
Mm-hmm.
He was in the big leagues for so many years.
Joe West was 69 years old when he retired from Major League Baseball 3 years ago.
Damn near 70.
Damn.
At a certain point, when the game becomes faster, I don't need nobody blowing out a hip. I don't need nobody's pacemaker going the wrong way.
That's why I said what I said.
Know what I mean? Like, to me, once you hit the age of like, all right, bro, you hit 60, we got to get you off the field. Because the game's only going to get faster. These dudes are only going to get stronger. The speed is only going to get more crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to do this where you don't put these umpires at risk. And this is where I think the robo umps is going to come into play. Because now we're going to take the human bias out of it. We're going to take age out of it. And we're just going to want to get these scores right. It's literally going to be robotic.
And now that we're doing the show, I said this to you earlier today, Stephen. But now, I mean, no better time to say other than now. Major League Baseball is only doing this because this is their response to the fans. The fans criticizing how bad umpires have been for some time now, because had it not been for fans saying, oh, how the hell you blew this call and how could you make that? You've been working as an umpire for X amount of years. This is exactly why. Those fat boys calling out of it. So, TD, you are all... Oh, okay, never mind. You just answered my question there. MLB needs to go to robot umpires. Sorry. Wow, okay. See, I don't want them to do it cold turkey, nor do I think it's going to happen like that.
No.
But I think we should get to a point where, it's all going to, come down to what a camera essentially is telling them at the end of the days. But can we at least keep one guy on the field? Listen, you no longer have a guy on first base or third, but maybe you just keep a guy at home for, I don't know what the reason may be, but you don't want to eliminate that completely. It's a part of baseball, bro.
No, what I would say is I hate all this robo-ump shit. They get it wrong, they're human beings. You make fuck ups on the field all the time as plays. You get picked off. You miss a bag. You get thrown out at the plate. You misjudge a ball. Nobody kill. I mean, the fans kill you. But why don't we extend the same grace to umpires?
Right.
Why? The game is hard. The game is probably harder for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, so we're going to go to robo-umps? What's next? Robo-hitters and pitchers? We're going to take human beings off the field completely?
Oh, and by the way, I believe, now, this could change, but I believe Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, they're looking to make this a thing, if I'm not mistaken, as early as 2026, right?
Yes.
That's what I've been hearing.
According to The Athletic, what I read, yes.
So we're going to see, not only are we going to see this in spring training, but we might see this for the first time over the course of full season in about a year.
The game is changing faster than we can catch up with. And that's what I don't appreciate. Because how do you go from the game's been this way for damn near 100 and some odd years, and all of a sudden it changes off a whim? Why? Now the pitch clock has worked. I didn't like the pitch clock at first, but I like it now. So I give baseball some credit. Shortening the games have worked. I didn't like it at first because I like being at the yard 3 hours. I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned, but I appreciate why you did what you did.
You know, in a way, Stefan, too, you know, because you know where I stand, right? Old-fashioned baseball is the way to go. Like, you know, run right through a catch if you have to. Like, I'm all for all that stuff, right? I'm okay with seeing that, even if it were a thing today. But I think at the same time, Major League Baseball does have to move with the times, right? What's the problem today? Shorter attention spans. Nobody really wants to sit there for 3 hours. Nowadays, if you can't catch somebody's attention within like 15 to 30 seconds, you're done. You lost them. They're on to the next sport. Yeah, that's the real deal.
That's crazy. And that's why I think baseball's suffering, because the game's still kind of slow, even with these adjustments they've made. Rick has a good point here. I prefer the challenge system keeps the human element, but a checks and balance is there for bigger situations. I understand that.
I don't like because you see, the reason why I don't like the challenge system is because we already have replay, and that to me is the ultimate challenge system for when it really matters.
And even that got to be
strikes, bro.
That got to be modernized too.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We
need to know whether somebody's out or safe quicker.
Right. Listen,
this is too much time.
This is what I would do. I would put an IFB and all these umpires here, where you're standing on a base and you could communicate with New York with an IFB in your ear. Yo, is he safe or out?
They could do it though, bro. You know why? I just said it. Look at the two systems that they want to try when it comes to this automated strike zone. One of the systems is an umpire is not going to call it themselves.
Right.
They're actually going to hear it through an earpiece. So they can do it.
And that's why I'm suggesting there should be an umpire in the umpires room at all these stadiums with 4 monitors on the bases. There should be a camera, first base, second base, third base, where if there's a call on one of those bases, the umpire in the umpiring room in the same stadium as you can tell you whether he was safe or out. You don't got to lug out the big fucking Jagungo thing for them to put the headphones on and you put an IFB in your ear. Do like what they're doing with the pitch comm. Why can't we have an comm? Yo, put something in your ear real quick, bro. Let me know what you hear, safe or out.
And Major League Baseball, let's be honest, folks, they make way too much money to really sit here and act like they can't do that. I don't want to hear it.
Crazy, son.
Right.
It's crazy. It should not take you 15 minutes to decide whether somebody's safe or out.
See, TD makes something. He makes a comment here that's interesting. He says, old-fashioned baseball, the game will end in 20 years. What makes the NFL great is their ability to adapt, bro.
I can make the argument the NFL is trash.
You think so? See, I don't want to. I agree with you, but I come from a very biased standpoint, and I also respect the fact that the NFL is, I mean, huge, especially here in America. So I like to give it its respect, at least when it comes to that, you know.
I
But
respect it.
TD, what if it's really one of those things where maybe people just like football more than baseball, bro, and baseball had its time,
It's true.
but it just so happens to be that it was a long time ago.
You're right. Not true. Football compared to what it was back in the days when you got more physical, when you were able to hit people, and the game wasn't as soft as it is now, where every other play's a flag. Football's soft. It's soft. It's soft.
Right.
Sports in general is soft.
Isn't like celebrating in the end zone an issue these days? I mean, I don't watch football.
Yeah,
But
like people
guys
like,
get in trouble for that stuff now, right?
and I understand why they're doing it because of CTE, and you don't want to get the brain injuries and all that. I get it. But I like seeing people get hit. I like it. Maybe I'm in the minority. I like seeing people get their bell rung. I'm gonna hit the shit out of you. We gonna play like grown ass men. They ain't pulling on a flag just because I touched the head of your helmet.
Right.
No, hit my ass.
Rick actually likes where baseball is going. He likes the pitch clock, speeding up the game. It works. He enjoys the faster games. Yeah, I get your standpoint, Rick. I'm glad you ended it off with that because I know exactly where you're going with that. I feel you.
It sells tickets, but that's why
that's why I want to give them the respect that they deserve.
I respect it. I respect it, but me personally, I can't stand football the way it is now. Basketball's trash too. Basketball's soft.
Oh, basketball. I mean, is first of all, they damn near have eliminated one of the most important parts about basketball, which is defense. You can't even play proper defense now.
Yo, you know,
bro, you brush up on somebody, you might mess around and get attacked. You just might get thrown out. I'm saying, yo, I'm just saying.
Yo, it's crazy because I was sitting here I sit here sometimes and I watch 90s basketball, and to see how much the game changed from now till then is crazy. Watching the center shoot threes is commonplace now. You shot a three as a center in the 90s, your ass is on the bench for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, you know the thing is too though, man. They had to do something though, I would say. Because imagine being, let's say you're a dude who likes to drive to the basket. You know, I've heard stories where dudes were actually throwing blows back then.
Listen, they
ringing at your ribs, elbowing you on purpose.
You know why they changed the game, right? I'll tell you why. Yo, first of all, we couldn't deal with Shaq. He's too damn big. You gotta help, because but the 90s Knicks, they used to kill people. Ewing, Starks, Mason. They changed the game. Nah, we can't let you be beating everybody up. Nah, there's too much money out here. You can't be doing this. Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing, and Charles Oakley used to love beating the shit out of people. It was fun for them. The game done changed. What he said, Shrek says, I don't like watching football. Players getting concussions.
That's the tough part, bro. You know? And then here's the thing, too. If you don't make the change after dealing with situations like this, we live in a world now where the people on social media damn near gonna force you to have to make a change.
Talk about it, yeah.
Because they're gonna be calling you out every single day until you finally do something to address an issue such as the one that Shrek is talking about there.
Hold on. So what's wrong with guys like Roger and Pedro hitting guys?
You're right, TD. What's wrong with that? I don't see
you.
anything wrong with that.
I'm with you. You been behind.
Listen, from time to time, Stefan and I have conversations about, you know, moments in baseball where it seems like a guy should have gotten something that they just don't do anymore.
There's times where I'll be watching a game and I text them, yo, if that's me on the mound, I'm hitting. I'm going right here. Ribcage City, dog. You gonna see me. This is the comment of the night right here. This.
Yeah, big time, man.
Yeah.
In fact, TD, just to kind of like personalize this for you as well as Sox fan for life and any other Red Sox fan that's here watching right now. Analytics, believe it or not, is probably one of the main reasons why the Boston Red Sox traded Mookie Betts. If you really think about it,
That's
they didn't
crazy.
think he was going to age well. You know that, right? How do you know that so early? Because you're reading some damn numbers off of a damn computer screen. Yeah. Because there was nothing happening at the time for them to be like, yo, we're in trouble if we don't get rid of this guy.
It's true. If you think about it, that's a great point. And to be honest with you, I think this is why I don't like this whole challenging system and automated system is you're losing the feel for the game. I understand that you want to get the calls right. There's a lot riding on this. There's a lot of money riding on this. I understand it. But the human element is what made us all fall in love with the game of baseball. If you change that, then you know you can no longer call it baseball. The game has changed to a degree where it's no longer the same game. Now,
Yeah.
I get it. You have to evolve. Evolving is a very important part of this. But there has to come to a point, bro, where I'm sitting there looking at it and I'm going, like, how much is too much? Now you're gonna give me robo umps. Now you're gonna leave it up to interpretation of a robot. He's not even a real human being.
Yeah.
Where I can't even get it explained to me. If something would have happened, what if something happens during the game to end the game? They got a call wrong that screws somebody out of a playoff appearance or something like that. What do we tell them then at that point?
And also, one thing that we haven't mentioned yet, but I'm sure a lot of us should have on our minds, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that if this is, which it's looking like we're closer to it becoming a thing than it not being a thing at all at this
No
point.
doubt. Yep.
But when it happens, ejections, is that even going to exist anymore?
Yeah.
Like why are hitters, why are managers, why is anyone at that point going to have to open up their mouth? Especially when it comes to dealing with an umpire. All the calls are going to be correct.
My problem is, you know how you change this? You have to get. I would put Major League Baseball. I would put umpires that want to be Major League Baseball umpires. You got to go through umpiring school. You got to go through it for about a year and a half. When you really go to school, you go and you study this and you get behind the plate and you call balls and strikes and you make your way up like they do in the minor leagues. Same thing.
See, I'll go even a step further, Stefan, because I kind of feel like the process is already like that to a certain extent. But how about even when you do already make it to the major league level, you still have to attend, like, I don't know, make it like this mandatory. I don't know what the name would be. You get where I'm
Seminar.
going? Yeah, like
Yeah.
every like few years, if you've been umping at the major league level, you have to attend. You gotta touch up on your skills, touch up on your ability to make the right call and not the wrong call. I think that has to be implemented for sure.
I agree with you. This is an interesting comment right here. I don't know if I agree with this, but let's see what you think about this.
Or 2 hours? No, I don't like that because even if you look at basketball and football, even those games are beyond 2 hours. So the 2 hours thing, I'm not a big fan of, but maybe 7 innings. That would be interesting.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Baseball is meant to be. Then what are we going to call this show? 21 outs?
Yeah, bro. Screw it. 21 outs. Nah, me stop. You imagine that? Welcome everyone to 21 outs. Nah, me stop. It sounds corny, bro. 27. It's like we can't change that name.
No, but if baseball goes to 21 outs to 7 innings, you can.
Yeah.
The 27 outs to be passe. You're going to change it to 21 outs now.
I mean, listen, 7 innings. I know a lot of people don't want to see that at the major league level, but it's
I hate
normal in
it.
high school and it's normal in college. I'll tell you that much.
I know.
Yeah.
They do it in softball, don't they? Yeah.
7 innings as well. Yeah, in softball. True.
We're right there with you.
Now, here's the thing. I wanna go back to Shrek's comment real quick. Uh, so the takeout slides, not this one, the one that was up there, the previous one for by Shrek, because I wanted to point something out that he said there. The takeout slides, I hear you, bro. You know, especially we're talking about metal cleats. You got to be careful because say the metal cleats get somewhere near like the face area.
Yeah,
That's
no.
a problem. But not that. But how about you still allow throwing at a batter, but you just restrict them from throwing at the head, places like that. And if they do still decide to hit at someone like that, you get suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't got to take it away completely.
Mm-hmm. TD, they would never do this. They would never do this.
I've been hearing about this for a long time. Stephen, we've been hearing about this going back to Kingsborough days, bro.
And you know why they would never do this?
Money.
They lose television money.
Mm-hmm.
Then the players lose their money. And also owners lose money because that means that you got less people coming to the yard. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. As much as we would like it, it would be an interesting proposition. I don't think it happens.
Yeah, this is also a good response too. You would have to lower a lot of salaries if they do play less games, right? That's true.
Nah, they're not doing that.
I don't even think Anthony Rendon even likes the fact that he plays baseball at the big league level.
What's
Chad,
good,
what's good, bro?
What's good, bro? This too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the extra wild card spots and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that extra wild card spot for sure.
And when those games are being played, you got sellout crowds. And you talking about when most fan bases thinking their season is over, that extra wild card saves a lot of teams.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of, I know a couple of people mentioned Rendon here. I see Shrek mentioned him a couple times. I was reading something earlier today. Mm-hmm. The Angels have no insurance on his deal.
They couldn't.
My gosh.
They couldn't insure him, and they didn't want to pay the premiums.
That is bad, dude.
So, for example, since he's at the highest tier of he's been hurt a lot,
yeah,
they would have had to pay the highest premium for his injury. Now they would have saved themselves 50% of his salary, but you would have had to pay a crazy premium. Like I'm talking about couple $1 million a year.
I think he's missed out, if I'm not mistaken, on more than half of the team's games since he signed with the team, I believe.
He's only played 25.
It's that bad.
He's only played 25% of the games since he signed with the Angels.
Bro, I'm sorry. Call me crazy for saying this, but at some point when it is this bad for this long, Major League Baseball, listen, man, create something where you get involved and it's like hold the hell up.
You know what I would do is I would create something called the disabled exception, where if you can't play, if your body's just not, if you can't do it, we'll pay you in installments and you come off the roster. Let somebody else have that roster spot. Give teams flexibility. They do that in the NBA. They do that in the NBA. When somebody's out for a season and they need the roster spot filled, they file for a disabled player exception so that they can fill the roster spot and they can allow somebody else to take the spot and they don't have to be penalized. You know what I'm saying? So I think
coming is stupid, bro. Locksmith for life. He says his LeMahieu jersey arrives Tuesday. Yo. That is funny, bro. Please, please don't buy that jersey, man. And if you have one, get rid of it while you can.
Players Union will never go for that. That might cause a real lockout, for real. Players will never do this. Never. I know it's good to talk about. I know it's a fun conversation to have, but they'll never do it. Because the reality of it is all of this is about making money. We can all talk about the growth of the sport and what's best for the growth of the sport, But this is all about making money.
Yeah.
They went to the extra wild cards because the extra wild cards make money. And as unfortunate as it is, this automated strike zone is a new way to make money or even to save money because now we don't got to pay umpires to get these calls wrong.
Yeah.
When we could pay a robot, which is way less expensive.
That's why, to go back to your point that you mentioned earlier tonight, I would not be surprised if we get to a point where there aren't umpires on the field anymore. And it's just cameras just relaying the information and deciding whether a ball is a strike or not, deciding whether a runner is safe or out. I could see that happening.
If that's the case, then get ready for no baseball in 2026. I'm telling you. Get ready for no baseball in 2027. Because the CBA expires December 1st, 2026. So there's going to be a 2026 season. Baseball will not be played in 2027. I don't believe. Where we're going right now, with all the salary cap stuff and all, now with this robo situation, man.
Yeah, because that's another thing. Because if they implement that officially for a full season in 2026, that means that's another thing they're going to be able to add on to their list of things that they could now argue about. Yo, is this something that we want to move with moving forward or not?
And this is why, to me, I don't see a way in which we don't miss at least a significant chunk of the 2027 season.
So when do you think they start? At some point in June, July? Think April and May they don't play?
July 4th, maybe even later than that.
Right.
Maybe even later than that.
Damn, man. It's going to be a tough time, man.
Because,
for all of us.
Because if you want to sit here and really be honest, we're talking about multiple things that these people are fighting over. Salary cap, television blackouts. Now we're talking about automated strike zones.
Wait, speaking of television blackouts, when the hell is Major League Baseball going to address the fact that people cannot watch a team in the state that they live in? When is that BS going to stop?
So it's going to stop. I want to say there's going to be something about it here in the next 6 to 8 months.
Like, I think there was a time when it made sense
because Rob Manfred
guys had their own channels. Like, teams rather had their own channels, right? But does that even matter now when you got to have subscriptions to damn near everything? You got to have Netflix. You got to have Apple TV. You got to have Amazon Prime. You got to have Yes. You got to have SNY. You got to have ESPN. You got to have TBS. You got to, like, yo, I'm not being honest. You got to have MLB Network. Yo, that's like 9 different things I just mentioned, bro. Like, eliminate that blackout shit. Stop. I'm sorry, but stop. Yo, it's bad, bro. You know what? In a way, now that we're talking about this, I'm looking forward to the lockout. Let it happen.
That reminds me of Stone Cold where he goes, I had 1 beer. And I had 2 beers. And I had 3 beers. Like, you had the perfect cadence. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, bro. Because you know what? Like I said, the lockout, let it happen, man. Because I would love for that blackout restriction thing to be addressed during that time.
I'm going to tell you, and you know me, I pay for MLB.TV every year. We're talking about $150. I pay it every year. And
then now the thing is, if you're a Yankee fan, it's no more Yes. It's the Gotham. What was that?
The Gotham Sports app. Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm over all of this damn app stuff, bro. I don't want to subscribe to any damn thing anymore.
But here's the reality of it. If this is what you should do, Major League Baseball should have lease agreements with all these teams. Yo, even if they're in New York, but they don't want to pay for cable, if they pay for the at-bat subscription, let us lease the broadcast out so that they can at least get to watch their team. And you get ratings based on those leasing agreements with us. By the way, this Gotham Sports app is terrible.
Yeah. Oh, what was that? Go. What? Sorry, I was looking at this one here. Yeah, Chad. That's why I brought up that point.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, the Gotham Sports app is like $30 a month to watch the Knicks and Yankees, Rangers, the
See,
Nets.
this right here is a big problem. People are
Yeah,
paying this much for cable, and then you want them to subscribe to like 8 other things that's gonna equal up to an extra $100. At that point, we're looking at damn near
$300.
$300 just
Mm-hmm.
to be able to
Enjoy
watch.
sports. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, MSG is not even on Optimum right now.
yeah, I've heard. My uncle was actually telling me about that a couple weeks ago.
I'm pissed off right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the Iggy to watch the Nick games anyway, because you know me, I can't miss Nick games. But
But this conversation that we're having now is exactly why MSG is not on Optimum no more.
yeah,
It's because they want everybody to go run to that BS Gotham City, whatever that Gotham
no,
Sports. I said
no,
Gotham City.
it's the same thing. Also, too, uh, they're still charging you a premium for all the. They're still charging you for those channels. Like just because
These cable
MSG's
companies.
what you know, the MSG is still being charged on your cable bill. You're paying for MSG Network as a premium channel, even though it's not on the Optimum lineup anymore. They getting away with murder out here, bro.
Yeah, it's bad.
And you would think, yo, Major League Baseball, at this point, this is where you work out an agreement with all the networks like Nesson, yes, yo, let's just lease your games. You'll put it on our product. When you watch the game, it says MLB Baseball, which is Major League Baseball. Yes, Yes Network owns the Yankees.
And
But
you know what's coming next too, and it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if we start having Major League Baseball games on Netflix. I could see that coming,
it's coming.
especially with the move that wrestling recently made, and I think the NFL they had a couple of games on Netflix this past season too.
Christmas, yeah.
I think Major League Baseball and the NBA are probably right up next.
Well, the NBA has a partnership with Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So the NBA they have their own studio show on Amazon. Right. Taylor Works, Dirk Nowitzki, and Blake Griffin.
That's dope.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
at least it's the players that are behind that. Like that makes me feel a little better.
By the way, Carmelo Anthony is a game analyst for NBC because NBC is getting the rights to the NBA. So Melo's going to be a game analyst for NBC.
Interesting.
And next season.
Okay, I was going to ask that, right.
2025. So
I'd like to see that. I don't really. So I watch his podcast, and I know you do too, Stefan.
Oh yeah,
but I feel like Melo doing this. This is a whole different type of person we might be watching. You know,
at that point, yeah. You know what I would love to see, and I think baseball needs to adapt it. So do the rest of the sports. Yo, how about we get an alternative broadcast? You put it on YouTube, and you just have 3 dudes that play the game that are professional broadcasters that are on the couch chilling at an undisclosed location, and they're just shooting the shit like they're in a barbershop, but they got the game on, where they talk like me and you. Where you got to be prim and proper and know all the stats. Like, man, you could curse, you can have your liquor, you could do whatever you want, but you have to watch the game. And this is like a third party broadcast.
So in a way, it sounds like it would be a podcast, but live during games.
Watching a game, yeah. It's like having your own watch along where, like, for a big matchup, let's say you get Yankees Red Sox, you get David Ortiz, CC Sabathia, and you get 2 Red Sox, you get 2 Yankees, you get David Ortiz and CC, and then you get A-Rod, and then you get Nomar, and it's like, you got 2 teams, you got 2 players representing each team, and they watch the game and they tell you what they see. But in the game, they got their candy, and you have like a host, like a Matt Vasgersian or somebody like that.
Yeah, moderator.
That's a moderator that just, you know what I mean? And
by the way, speaking of the Red Sox, And shout out to the few of you who are Red Sox fans who support us. Thank you so much. I think it's fair that we do a Yankees Boston Red Sox watch along this season at some point. We got to do that.
We doing it this
It's
year,
only
baby.
right, man. We got to do that. I
We
think
doing it.
we have enough of you guys who are Red Sox fans where it only makes sense. I think we should do that along with you guys. But here's the trick. Now we're acknowledging, not only that you guys are supporting us, but the fact that you guys are Red Sox fans, which means you guys got to show up that night.
Right. Also, what I'm gonna do too, for all you Red Sox fans that were not in here for the original show, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna post in our chat, in the chat. I'm gonna post the last show in the chat. So it's gonna come up here. You're gonna see it, right?
Oh, yes.
This is the Alex Bregman episode. So if you were not here for the original episode, this is the Alex Bregman episode. So what we're gonna start doing, guys. By the way, if any of you guys want to be a moderator for the channel, where you help us filter through comments and you help us figure out what comments make the show and what don't, let us know. We'd love to have somebody be like a third moderator in here.
Nah, hell no, bro.
Nah.
Even if I wasn't a fan, I can't even agree with that. You know how many things have to come crashing down for that to happen? Damn near half the roster needs to go down. They're too good of a team.
We actually did Yankees Royals last year.
We did.
Yeah.
I think our very first watch along, Shrek, and it was actually, I believe, an extra inning game. Wasn't it, Stefan?
Yeah, Jazz Chisholm, walk off.
Yeah, Shrek. I don't think you were around yet at the time, but listen, better late than never, right? Drake said it best. Yo, don't start that BS, yo. I'm just saying. But go check that out, bro. We did do that game. Stefan is right.
About to hit you with a mustard on the beat.
TD was hip. Yo, TD, you've been here for a while, bro. Thank you.
Tampa Bay, maybe Orioles. Busy at the moment. Give me a call in the field. All right.
Bro is sticking with OVO. Of course, man. Of course. Shrek, did we ask him whether he rocks with Drake or not? I don't remember.
He's
we see so many different comments now.
He's a Kendrick guy. He's TD.
Well, wait, hold on. You could be a Kendrick dude and still have love for Drake. Why gotta be one over the other? Of course, yeah, Chad. Yeah, just sprinkle a little more emphasis on the fact that they're gonna be all right. See, I don't know about all that. But Oh, okay. So I'm assuming it's K dot over everything he says here. K dot. All right. All right. Shout out to you, TD. Oh, one other thing I want to ask you guys. So, we want to, as always, spend the ending of the show talking to you guys about whatever. But aside from Drake and Kendrick and that stuff, we have a lot of fun with that. Thoughts, Stefan? You and I already talked about this. If you want to, share your thoughts here with them tonight, feel free. But I want to know, what are your thoughts with this whole Marcus Stroman and the Yankees thing? Now, technically speaking, Marcus Stroman wasn't wrong for showing up when he did, because what was it? I think he has, according to the CBA, you're not late for spring training
until February 22nd, which is next Monday.
So, in the eyes of the rule book, essentially, he did nothing wrong. He's a father now. Maybe wanted to spend some more time with his son. As professional athletes, you spend all this time away from your families. So, there could be so many different ways to look at this.
For sure.
But a lot of people seem to be upset. I'm sort of like split down the middle, where I understand the frustration and I get it, but at the same time, the guy isn't breaking any rules. If you get what I mean. Now, it
Well,
may not be good in terms of what it could mean to the clubhouse and how it looks publicly,
mhm.
but I mean, should we be hard on him like that?
I mean, no, I don't think he did anything wrong, and I don't think the Yankees did anything wrong for pointing out that he wasn't there. I think it's much to do about nothing because there's trade speculation around him right now, so everybody's trying to make more about something than there needs to be. The reality of it is he did nothing wrong. He was, whether he's on time or not, that's his business, that's his prerogative, right? But he didn't do anything wrong.
So for me, the real issue is not that. And I wanted to start off with that because I know that's what we had heard at first.
Right.
And then just a couple of days later, he finally shows up and he's
Well,
on some.
Well, hold on.
I'm just a starter. I'm not
No.
coming out of the bullpen, basically.
Well, then, which is what he's supposed to say when you got a 20 some odd $1 million vesting option that you want to pick, $18 million vesting option that you want to pick up for next year. Because if he gets to 140 innings, he gets $18 million in 2026. That's why he says he's a starter.
He's gonna do it. I think he's gonna do it.
He's gonna do what?
Now, 140 for a guy like Stroman, not easy to get.
He's not. Listen,
because he's not a guy who pitches deep into balls.
If he's gonna get to 140, it ain't gonna be with the Yankees.
Right. I think he gets it for exactly what you just said a few seconds ago. He knows what's on the other side of 2025. There's 2026 and what's on the table.
Right. What I'm saying is if he does get to 140 innings, it's not going to be with the Yankees. I don't see a world in which he cracks the rotation to be able to make that many starts unless there's an injury. Because they got 5 starters now as it is. So where is the innings coming from? I think ultimately.
Here's the thing, though, and we know this, Stefan. There's going to come a time when Stroman, well, whether it's Stroman or not is up to the Yankees to decide, right?
Mm-hmm.
But going into a regular season with just 5 starters, it's just not a thing. That just does not exist.
Right.
Whether guys get hurt or not, end up spending a lot of time hurt.
Right.
Is besides the point, because nowadays guys just want a day off sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think there is a need for him, but he just doesn't fit the typical starting 5 rotation. At least right now.
What I will tell you is this. I think he's going to get a chance to make certain starts. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to make certain starts, but I don't think the Yankees are going to let him get to anywhere near 140 innings. I think they will call somebody else up to make spot starts before you let him even think about the idea of getting close to 140 innings. Because at the end of the day, it's a business.
You see, here's the thing, though, and that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. But we all know how Stroman is. Like, I would not be surprised if the Yankees do that and Stroman ends up taking it in a way where he's like, yo, y'all did this to me on purpose.
Then you know what? I can easily cut you.
Right.
I ain't got to deal with your bullshit. It's 1 year. Go ahead. I can cut you. Because at the end of the day, right, you weren't good enough to pitch down the stretch last year. You weren't good enough to even get into a playoff game. Why do we have to cater to you because you want to crack a vesting option? Nah. What I would say is if he's healthy enough to pitch, and because there's going to be injuries in other camps. So I think what the Yankees do is they buy their time. Do I think Marcus Stroman is here by opening day? I do not. I think Marcus Stroman gets traded just before opening day. Because there's going to be injury somewhere to another team that's going to need some pitching, and the Yankees will find a way to ship him off for a low-level prospect somewhere.
Right. So let me ask you this, right? Because I know where you stand, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what if because we all know how good Marcus Stroman is during the first half of a season. Like, he's done it with the Yankees. He wasn't bad in the first half last season.
Yeah.
He's done it as well with the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
It's the second half that really seems to be where he can't put like the finishing touches on a complete season, let's say.
Right.
What if the Yankees, knowing how well Marcus Stroman pitches in the first half, what if they actually allow him to play a key role and they keep him up until the deadline and then flip him because they know he's basically going to turn into damaged goods in the second half?
You're going to risk injury that way. That's why I don't think they even let him. They don't even let him see New York. They're going to trade him before they even get to New York.
So he's getting traded between now and what? The end of March?
Yes.
Okay, so over the next month and some change. Okay.
Because you don't want to carry the contract and then he gets hurt and then you got to pay it anyway. Right? You rather it not be your problem. Now he's still going to have the vesting option because wherever he goes, whoever trades for him is going to need innings at that point. Right? So I think Brian Cashman's doing this smart. Listen, Stroman's in camp. He's a professional. We love Marcus, blah, blah, blah. But behind the scenes, they can't wait to trade this dude.
Yeah. By the way, did you hear Aaron Boone's comments on I think some reporter had asked him, what was his thoughts on like Stroman unfollowing the Yankees? This man Boone was like, "Oh, that's just a part of like filtering through like your followers." I was like, "What, bro? Where did you come up with that response, bro? Like that just makes no sense at all."
Listen, but who cares whether he follows the Yankees or not? Sign your checks.
Exactly, that's true.
Who cares?
Right. It's like the couples who still live with each other, but they got each other blocked on social media. They still go to bed with each other every night.
Exactly.
Still smashing, still doing, whatever people do.
Listen, the check clears every 2 weeks, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's all that matters. I feel you, bro. That's the bottom line. I hear you.
He unfollowed the Yankees. So what does that mean? I care why. Oh, he changed his Instagram bio to a horse. Oh, I care why.
Yeah.
What? I love when people like during free agency. Yo, this guy just followed the Mavs on Instagram. Yo, this guy just followed the Warriors on Instagram. Yo,
right.
Stop.
Yeah. And also, too, what's wrong with an athlete mentally preparing in advance for what's next?
To be traded when you
so I gotta wait when the public finds out that I'm on the move when I had already known this for who knows how long.
And if Cashman, which I know he is, he probably calls Shirley. Listen, we gotta free up some money. You know what I mean? You probably gonna be the odd man out. We got about 6 starters in here. I wouldn't be surprised if he calls him and says, "Yo, if a trade comes up, we're going to deal you."
Yeah.
And the Yankees have told teams we're willing to eat at least $10 to $12 million to make this work.
And like I told you, Stephen, I haven't shared it with those of you who are watching right now. And before we wrap up, one final reminder. Follow us on Instagram at 27ounce3C. And for those of you who have been rocking with us all night long, make sure you hit that like button if you have not already done so. And last but not least, make sure you hit that subscribe button. What was it that I was just about to say? There was something I was about to say about
Well, I'll say this, TD. I don't like that. This comment is interesting to me because here's the reality of it.
Oh, it came back to me. Go ahead.
He's still a valuable pitcher, and if you got a functioning arm that can work, you can get paid. Alex Cobb just got $15 million from the Detroit Tigers, and Alex Cobb hasn't pitched a full season in about 4.5 years. So that comment's a little bit, interesting. This is funny, but this is not true. 27 ounces is a baseball channel. We are not a Mets channel nor a Yankee channel.
Right. Like what was the dude's name earlier? Gilbert? We're just baseball fans at the end of the day. Well, TD, we know this to a certain extent. We're not there yet, but to go back to Stefan's point on the Yankees having to win a World Series within the next 3 years, that kind of goes along with what you just said there. So we're aware of it. We know what's creeping on us. It's right around the corner. One last thing I wanted to say about the Stroman thing. Stefan, you know this already, but I want to share with all of you. I just think that Stroman is hurt that his favorite team does not want him at the end of the day. You know, he wanted to be there all along. He finally got the opportunity later in his career, as we are all watching right now as I speak. And he doesn't like the fact that he has to no longer be a Yankee, you know?
So here's the reality of it. Why didn't you pitch better?
You're right. Should have done your job better.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I hear your point and everything, but like simple mathematics out here. You don't do your job, you don't pitch well, you can get shipped off. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
PD, I feel like you are trolling, dude. I cannot take it serious as much as I want to.
TD,
I just can't.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Listen, if you don't think they're winning the American League East, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Take it. But there's no way you're telling me the Yankees can't even get him via wild card, bro. Stop that.
The Yankees, first of all, I'm gonna make a bold proclamation right now. Yankees are winning the American League East with their eyes closed, though. Stop this. Stop this foolishness. Stop. They're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna win the division rather easily. I like the Red Sox. Don't get me wrong, but they're gonna win the division rather easily.
Yeah. You see, he's trolling. You see, TD, I'm glad you said that. He said, I had a feeling, bro. You see, that's why I don't like to get ahead of myself when you read certain comments, because listen, this is what we like to do at the end of the day. Talk baseball and have fun.
What I will say is, though, I'm gonna be honest with you, TD. I love your Red Sox, though. I'm not gonna lie. I love what the Red Sox are doing. Ivan, I told you this last show we did. Boston's gonna be here as early as they might even make the playoffs this year.
Yeah,
I'm there.
I could see them being
a wild card, like fringe wild card team.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, we're Yankee fans at the end of the day, like we told you guys. But listen, I need the Red Sox to be good. It's good when the Yankees and Red Sox are good together. It's just more fun. And if the Red Sox make the playoffs, then that's good, because that means that there'll be more Red Sox fans in here, and we get to kick it with more Red Sox fans, and the people that love the Red Sox and love the Yankees, and it becomes a rivalry. I'm good with it.
Oh, so he disagrees with your point on the Yankees winning the American League East. He says he has the Yankees making the playoffs via the wild card.
Nah, the Yankees are winning the East.
He says he's serious about Tampa. Well,
I like Tampa, but then I'll give it another year. But I like that Red Sox team, though.
Yeah, the three teams, when it comes to, and we're gonna make a video at some point, but over the next couple of weeks about it.
We didn't even do this. Who we got winning it? Who we got winning the National League East?
Wow. All right. So the good thing is we spoke about every team in that division.
I got the Mets.
You got the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You got the Mets. Damn, man. So here's what I'll say. Somebody left a comment that I would say goes hand in hand with what I'm about to say when it comes to who I think is going to win the National League East.
Mm-hmm.
If Acuna and Strider are their usual selves, I got the Braves winning the National League East.
Gotcha.
If not, then it's a toss up between the Phillies and the Mets.
Is it fair to say that the Phillies are the third best team in the National League?
Well, I think you see, here's the thing. When we first got into breaking down the division, you brought up a very important point, Stefan. Either one of those three teams, in the Braves, Mets, or Phillies, could finish third. Right. Like, that's how good all three teams are.
But I think the Braves have a little more, though, in terms of, like, their lineup's a little younger, their rotation's a little younger. Like, they kind of, like, you know what I'm saying? There's some with the Braves, they got a little bit more juice, right? When you look at the Phillies just feel stale. And they didn't do enough to upgrade the positions they needed to upgrade. Like, that bullpen is still going to be a problem for them, right?
Yeah.
So, to me, I got the Phillies as the third best team in the National League. I think Mets, Braves, Phillies, in that order.
We got look at these comments. Chad says he has the Mets winning the East. TD says the Braves. I'm with the Braves as well. But ultimately, I really think either one of those teams has a fair shot,
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me.
No.
At all.
They're both gonna get close. All three of them are gonna get close to 90 wins, as I said at the start of the show. So
Yeah.
You're a fool, TD. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
Tina Marlins. Oh, Andy says Mets
shit.
finished third. Wow. It's possible, but is that something that a lot of people are anticipating? Maybe not.
The thing with the Mets is their pitching still leaves a lot to be desired.
That's my main
That
issue.
would be the thing that has me like, oh yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that starting rotation.
No, me neither.
I'm not. Mets finished third. I don't know too many Mets fans who are going to be proud to hear that.
Is that I see Nats? Wouldn't be surprised if the Nats are in third.
No, not yet. Maybe after like all of that lockout business and all that stuff.
Yeah, the Phillies bullpen. Yes, Phillies bullpen's bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that would be the thing. Is that would be the thing? Is that would be the thing. Is the Mets starting rotation? That's the biggest flaw to me. Other than that, I like the Met lineup. So, anyway, guys, this was fun. Juan Soto in Atlanta. Mets don't finish anywhere below. Wow. Okay. This was fun, guys. Thank you for rocking with us. We were on here 2 hours, so
yeah,
we appreciate the love, and we'll be back here soon. I don't want to give a day out because days change, things change, plans change. So you'll see us again in the middle of the week for sure.
Yeah, we'll certainly be back for a second time this week. Just know that for sure. Hey, listen, Shrek, they got to go through those Yankees first. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, this is interesting. I don't know about that.
Really?
Nah, I can't say that.
Not yet. Because you know what it is, Andy? Like, I know a lot of us, and we all know this, right? Soto had the season that he had last season to a certain extent because he was in the same lineup as Judge.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, being in the same lineup with Lindor, Pete Alonso, Vientos ain't that bad.
That's not a bad consolation prize. And
it's not the end of the world.
You can make the argument. That Aaron Judge might suffer more than Juan Soto would with his current lineup. Because right now, I think the Mets lineup is better than the Yankee lineup.
Ooh, damn! The fact that you said that at the end of the show, bro, you basically you stirred the pot, but you shut off the fire. So now it's no longer cooking.
Know what I mean? So we're gonna leave it on that. We're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger.
We're out of here, guys. Shout out to all of you guys for rocking with us, literally from the very beginning of tonight's show till now. We still have a decent amount of you guys here, so thank you so much. And as Stephen said, we will see you in a few days.
Peace.